What on earth is that? It's a Journey into Comics Network production!
Tell me something, my friend. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? What? I always ask that of all my prey. I just like the sound of it.
Brought to you by the power of the Journey into Comics Network. This is the Journey into Comics podcast, the show that's 100% dedicated to everything nerd. With your hosts, the Podfather, Nate Phillips, the Podmaster, Brandon Stone, and the Journey into Comics Network stepdad, Tyler McLaughlin.
Time to make the chimichangas.
30 seconds.
Hey!
Excellent!
Finally.
What did you do?
Went for the head. And here we go.
Can somebody tell me what kind of a world we live in where a man dressed up as a bat gets all of my press? This town needs an enema.
What's up, true believers? Welcome back to another episode of Journey into Comics. Today, it's Journey into Comics 327. I am the Podfather, your host, Nate. Today, joining me, as always, the co-host with the co-most, the Podmaster, Lord, King of the Manor, King of the Castle. Welcome home, Brando. How's it going, brother?
Lithium mode off.
Hey, there you go.
Damn kids. No, it's going pretty good, man. It's good to be here today. We're going to be talking about some Mandalorian like season finale stuff. It's going to be pretty cool. And there's a lot to cover, and we're not alone today. Unfortunately, our stepdad of the JIC network is not here today. Of course, he's working pretty much his hands to the bone.
He's putting them stepdad hours in.
Yeah, he unfortunately is, and we send all of our best energy to him to help him get through these long days. And of course, I mean, he's going to be doing this pretty much till the holidays are over with. So when he gets back on a more of a full-time basis, in fact, probably the first episode he's back on, we are going to be doing a full season 2 retrospective deep dive into Mandalorian season 2. That is coming. Today we're just focusing on the season finale, and sitting in to help us talk about that here today is the one and only host of Podcastrophe, host and contributor to Rank 'Em All, soon to come to a podcast service near you, the one and only Dick Blaine Tyner.
Yes, hey, I'm a stepdad. Not
He's not the. There's only one the.
Yeah.
Like that's very important. The THE, it definitely is in quotations.
I'm a bonus dad.
Bonus dad. There you go.
Oh, look at this. Early in the
hilarious.
episode, it isn't even fucking around this week, you guys. Train of our existence is like, let's get this shit out of the way. Wah!
Dude, I'm so happy because, now that my whole recording life has changed with how my kid's like YOLOing himself into just one nap a day right in the middle of it's hard to work around it sometimes with our schedules.
Right in the middle of a pandemic.
Right. He has no consideration for whatsoever for us recording podcasts during a quarantine or pandemic or anything. No, but because of that, I have to completely tear down my entire system, make a hole in my bedroom, like a little corner where I can just nook in here and record an episode or two. And we're right by the road here, whereas in the back, it's a little bit different. There's a little more wall, so to speak. And you might hear sirens because there's a nursing home right down the street. And literally, they will come blazing down our road, sirens blaring, trying to get to this nursing home to save all these old people from their from their impending death. And I don't.
A lot of times, it's just that one of the old people pulled the fire alarm and shit because they're trying to escape, so they have to go, and then it's just bullshit. They're like, "Come on, Charlie, knock it off."
What really confused us? What really confused us yesterday? We heard sirens, and literally, like my oldest, he has always been obsessed. He runs to the window, nose to the like seeing what's going on, and he still does it. Like he's 5. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying that like you've seen that for 5 years. It happens every day.
The magic though has not been lost on him. It's still magical.
Well, sometimes they
Sounds
roll
like my
down the
cat
street. Sometimes they roll down the street and it scares him because loud noises kind of like scare him. But anyway, we saw sirens. We saw ambulance in a police car going north. Literally 15 seconds later, fire truck and fire chief going south. What's going on here?
Something is very wrong, and you guys are going in opposite emergencies. So no.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you hear sirens, during any of these episodes, and it's really loud and it blows your eardrums out, I apologize.
Yeah, sure.
I tried to do my best to timestamp that stuff, and maybe I could fix it in post. If you're listening on the audio version, the video version of you guys are just fucked. I mean, I'm not fixing that.
Sorry, guys.
I do no editing. The only time I do real editing on the video version is if we actually lose connection or like the program freezes and we have to literally stop and restart, and I need to put the episodes together because my computer is pretty badass. I like it, but it doesn't matter how good your computer is when you have to render a 1 to 2 hour long video.
It drags.
In HD, it just takes a while, and it literally takes all the power your computer has. Literally, he's like Goku turning Super Saiyan 3 for about an hour. It's like, can I do anything else? No, I can't. Like,
no,
we are tapped out. But we are not tapped out on our hype for Mandalorian season 2. This has been a great season. As I said, full season recap and deep dive and lore, all that stuff that's coming. But just to get the saying out of the way, because I'm going to say it again on that episode, this season has made me appreciate the first season more.
Oh, totally. I feel like at this point, and there's like so much ground to really cover, but at this point, it almost goes without saying that a second watch through both seasons can, like in a continuous setting where you're like in a couple days knock it out, is almost necessary, because I feel like you're gonna see things in that first season that cue us into what's coming. Hey, all signs point to X, and man, I have a real weird obsession with not wanting to be spoiled. There's a person that we're in here right now with that spoiled some shit for me in the past. So actually, as recently as the investors call, actually, you spoiled the Fantastic Four announcement for me, you asshole. But if that was circumstantial, I don't blame you.
I will not apologize for that.
No, please don't. That would be totally unnecessary. But like,
you're not getting that out of me for this one, pal.
But anyways, so like, to me, I'm like, okay, I'm going to just stay up and watch. I'm going to wait till 2 a.m., which is fucking right when you guys are getting up for the day. Or maybe that's like an hour too early, but like, get up or be up. I'm going to watch the episode before anybody else, and I'm going to go to sleep on it so that when I wake up, the group chat can be blowing up with spoilers.
You were able to fall asleep right after that?
No, I'll explain how I fell asleep in just a second. I'm getting there. It's kind of all encompassing.
I know where you're going.
You see where I'm going. So, so first and foremost, to celebrate that the Mandalorian was happening, I did purchase a special gift for myself from my job. I got a little okay. So for those who are watching or who may not follow me or whatever, I do work at a dispensary now, and it's the greatest job on earth. I legally get to sell weed to people all day. It's like fucking.
Oh, that kind of dispensary.
Yes, no. The medicinal fried chicken dispensary, bro.
Nice.
Fried chicken.
I would go all for that.
Yeah, totally. But unfortunately we have to cut the gravy with Boston Market gravy, and it's just not as good.
That's okay.
You can't have KFC without real gravy.
I'll be all right. I'm not a big gravy guy, despite most of my handles being smothered in gravy. Like, it's just a funny name.
That's just because you like jizz jokes.
No, I do not.
He does. Anyways, I digress. So I got this pre-roll called Alien Rock Candy. I mean, Mandalorian, Alien Rock Candy. It just goes hand in hand. And actually, I was like, oh, I enjoyed it. And then I thought, I should probably read what the effects are. And all the things said you're going to fall asleep like immediately. And I was like, fuck, I'm not even going to get to watch this thing, man. I'm going to fall asleep in a couple minutes. So I was like, try not to lay down. And then I didn't feel tired at all. Put the episode on. We're going to definitely be covering the episode in just 1 second. And then I had to go get something else from my goodie jar and partake upon that to just get me to the point where I could actually fall asleep because of how hyped I was. I almost ran a lap around the outside of the house at the end of the episode. I was so jazzed. I was like, holy shit, this is the best Star Wars, like maybe ever. Like, how's that even happen? It's crazy.
Yeah. I was so excited. One, AP already threw in the chat. Holy, like he just gushing about it. Not spoiling. Thank you, AP. But
He
so
learned
all
his
day,
lesson
I'm like,
from Endgame.
yeah. So all day I'm like ready to go. I was gonna go work out and then go home and do it, but I was like, nah, I'm going home. And no, I didn't even work out at all. But I went home and I told my wife, because she was wanting to go like Christmas shopping for like stocking stuffers and shit. And I'm like, I'm going home. I'm watching the Madalorian season finale. I'm not leaving until it's done. So don't walk in the house and be like, are you ready? Because I will be ready when the show is over.
I'll be ready when I'm fucking ready.
She gets home, and as soon as she hits the porch, I pause it. And I stare at her as she's walking through the door. Like, are you going to say, if you're going to say anything, say it now.
This is your chance.
She just kind of stared at me and was like, hi. And then she kept walking. I'm like, unpause. And she left me alone. And I got to enjoy it.
So, due to my inability to partake in what Nate partakes in, well, I have,
It's a handicap, really.
Right. So, I've had this bottle of Jim Beam honey for almost a year going on. Maybe sometime in the early spring I bought it. I saw this video on YouTube about making kind of like a customized little barbecue sauce deal, and it called for bourbon. And I'm like, I'm looking at the price of like member mark or whatever? Maker Mark. Yeah, Sam's Club, Members Mark bourbon. But I saw the price of that, and I'm like, I'm just trying to make some barbecue sauce here. I don't need this. This is high class. So I'm like, maybe some Jim Beam, and the only kind I had was honey. Of course, we were in a quarantine as well. I'm like, honey barbecue, like it'll work. And no, the sauce is actually really good, and I just had it, and there's been a lot of aversion to me wanting to drink. Obviously, this year being really rough. A year and alcohol being somewhat of a depressant. I'm like, I don't need that in my life. However,
let's not make it worse.
Right. So certain things were going to go down before we could watch The Mandalorian. Okay. And to enjoy that a little bit more, I took a few shots and had like a Coke and this. Also, yeah, 70s like Star Wars was weird.
Heard there was a lot of bush.
A lot of, and like hair buns. Yeah. So no, this stuff kind of tastes like honey halls a little bit without the menthol. Like, it's one of those things where like, and so like, I did what, like we had to go get food because we didn't want to cook, so we got food. And so, yeah, no, like, I got to enjoy the episode being very relaxed, and I also was not falling out of my chair drunk, which is the last time that I drank anything. That's exactly what happened. Not a very good time. The Kraken is real. Don't do it. Stay away from it. It's awful. It makes my
Kraken got to smacking.
Literally, there are times when we talk about Kraken, and I get shivers down my spine, and the hair on my arms stands up completely.
Damn.
It is that. Don't. You know what? Couldn't even protect me from the Kraken? White Claws.
Ooh.
And the White Claws are supposed to have water in them.
Yeah, yes. I mean, that's kind of science. Do you know what also has water in it, Brando?
Water.
Fucking water, bro. Just like Dick said, water.
No, I did that the day after, but I couldn't keep it down. Anyway.
Oh, I got you.
So, no, I got to watch the episode, and we got to watch the episode in peace and quiet because the previous 2 episodes, literally, we try to watch it like Sunday morning, and we had to pause it every 3 minutes. Every 3 minutes. Because like 5-year-olds can't shut up for any longer than that. They can't. No, it is physically impossible. If they don't talk, they will die.
They think that every minute they're breathing, they must be speaking.
Incredibly accurate.
1000%. So today on Bad Dads Club.
Anyways, no, we got to watch the episode all the way through with no disruptions and distractions, eating very bad fast food, being buzzed enough that the food actually kind of absorbed a little bit of it, and then I just laid in a chair and I didn't fall asleep. I wasn't that tired. Nice. But I was able to, even though the hype was fucking real, I was still chilled enough to go to sleep. So there we go.
Hell yeah, man.
Now that we prefaced it for about 15 minutes.
We hyped it. We all kind of had our own experience on how we got to watch it. And, really this episode, as we were coming into this final episode of the season, I don't know about you guys, I felt like they had really set themselves up for one of two things. A huge letdown when it's not exactly what everybody was hoping for, or the anticipation of possibility doesn't meet expectations. But they not only delivered, they over-delivered to the point where it's like, I say all that to say this quickly because we're not going to be able to transition backwards. We're going to be stuck in The Mandalorian for a while here. But if what Disney and Star Wars have done with Favreau and Filoni can, in the same turn, do that with anything they have Marvel, the entire paradigm of entertainment has literally shifted. Disney just upped the game in a way that I can't even explain, because Mandalorian by itself is special. And again, it's the tying of our love and nostalgia for the series of Star Wars with an unknown in the universe. We don't know those years what happened between officially Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens, but now we're starting to fill those gaps in and learn about characters that we've had questions about. They've been able to flesh the world out in such a way that it makes it even more rich. And that's, again, what we know Marvel's good at doing. So I just see that Disney is going to be leading in streams before it's all said and done. I don't know if they have the lead right now in overall. I think Netflix probably still has it with 200 million subscribers, but I don't think Disney has long to go before they'll catch them.
I did hear that they anticipate surpassing Netflix by this time next year.
Telling you. It's not beyond their grasp. And Netflix has been, you guys know it, they've been the stronghold on streaming and anything entertainment, all the way back to getting DVDs in the fucking mail. So this is pretty crazy for entertainment. I know that's a very big statement just on the back of Mandalorian, but really look at what they did. Look at what they were able to fucking do.
I think if Disney could streamline their actual user interface a lot better. So it's already pretty solid with you got Star Wars, Marvel, Harry Potter's not there, but
no,
it's Star Wars, Pixar, Marvel.
Yeah, you got all your little tabs.
Geo and Disney.
Same with HBO Max. They have that same thing.
The hub.
Netflix needs that. Netflix needs something like that for their original content and divide up their original content. However, Netflix it's still got the best UI in my opinion.
I don't know if you guys watched it, but the Queen's Gambit is a phenomenal show.
I have not watched it.
Have not seen it. I do highly encourage it. It's I'm not going to go on the hype train there, but anyways, let's get into this episode. We should probably preface, we are going to go heavy spoilers on this. We're going to be breaking it, cracking it like an egg, talking about some of the things we saw and happened. So at this point, if you have not watched the episode, back the fuck off, man. Come back later. Come back after you've watched the episode.
Listen, we accept you.
Yeah, we want you here. Anyways, you guys, I'm going to ask a question to just get this out of the way because I'm excited to know. Dick, we're going to go with you first. You're the guest. What was your favorite part of the episode that we got in the finale of The Mandalorian? Because there
Damn.
are like some minutes that could be favorites.
Why you gotta hit me with that? Because that's tough. That's so.
I know that's
tough.
but. Yeah.
I mean, just to start the episode, this is not my favorite part, but just to start the episode off, we see the Slave One in hyperspace. It's like,
oh man!
I mean, for
that
such a
was
simple
excellent.
thing, it's just like, I've never seen this before. It's so cool.
They actually put us in the cockpit of the Slave One. We've never seen that before like that.
Cockpit. We I mean, that was last week. We got the actual like whole area.
How it works with the ship moving
Yeah.
around and how like
Yeah.
there's a center part of the ship that the ship moves around. So
It's
like
gyroscopic.
well, because it's almost like you feel like when you're gonna go in there and sit down in the ship that you would just be like I gotta climb up and like throw myself into the chair. And,
that futuristic space Segway technology.
yeah, exactly. But anyway, continue on
My
with your moments.
favorite part, I mean, hands down, it's got to be the moment that you realize a certain Jedi pops up.
Yeah.
Words.
Now let me ask you guys this question because that's kind of a good segue into this, and we'll get Brandon's thought on his favorite moment too. I'm not going to shy away from that, but you said the certain Jedi. We're not spoiling it yet. As soon as you saw the lightsaber, did you know?
You know,
were there like it could be X.
It's crazy.
Maybe it's actually
because like, okay, so they're like one X-wing, and I immediately was like, is it that one Ranger? Like, what's he gonna fucking do? Ooh,
the old Asian guy.
I was like, okay, it's the Ranger, and then he's bringing the cavalry. Okay, let's see what happens. And then it cuts to, and then all of a sudden, all the Dark Troopers stop, and the music, the score for what happened. Oh my God! I mean, I'm getting chills right now. You can't see it on the camera, but I was like, whoa, what's going on here? And like all the attention of the Dark Troopers turns. They turn around, and it's like, whoa, what's going on? And then you see a hooded figure. I'm like, and it still hadn't clicked on me who it was, but I was like, is that Ahsoka? Like, did she have an X-wing? Then I'm like, no, she didn't have an X-wing. Then I saw the glove, that black glove.
That was what gave it away for me too. I kept eyeing the hands. Does
And
he got
then-
one glove on or no?
And then the green lightsaber. And then he's just cutting through the Dark Troopers like it's nothing. Like he's got way more skill than he had before. And he's like not breaking a sweat whatsoever. And these are the Dark Troopers. Like this is the Gen 3 or 4 Dark Troopers that are supposed to be like the perfect Dark Trooper or whatever. And he's just going through them like they're nothing. And I am like, the whole time I am literally saying to myself, holy shit, holy shit, holy shit. Like this is happening. I didn't think this would ever happen. I was skeptical. I was one of the naysayers to all the nerds that are like, oh, he's going to show back up. He's going to be the one to take Grogu. And I was one of the naysayers like, you fucking nerds, quit reaching. And then it fucking happened. I'm like, oh, they did it.
Yeah.
And are we going to say who it is?
Yep.
Spoilers. Go for it.
Spoilers. It's Luke Skywalker. It's post Return of the Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. I will say I'm not going to complain about the CGI because it is a de-aged Mark Hamill.
Mhm.
I'm not going to complain about it. However, I'm like, it didn't look that good.
It
And
also was actually Mark Hamill, which is
Yeah.
my favorite fucking part. They brought him in to do the
Yeah.
They
So,
brought
like-
him in to do the voice. It wasn't the actor standing there. That was a stand-in.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say like, oh, it ruined it for me. It took me out of it because I was still so high from the fact that it was Luke Skywalker.
Well, there's no other way that you could really do it with that
There
time period
isn't.
of Luke. I mean, you either recast him completely with Sebastian Stan, like we've said before, or
I thought it was gonna be too.
for a
on the
second,
reveal.
yeah,
I thought
maybe.
it was. I thought it was.
And
But
then
I'm like, no,
and then I
that's-
saw like I saw the de-aging, and then at first I wasn't even for sure if it was Mark Hamill's voice because it's younger Luke sounding, and obviously Mark doesn't really sound like that anymore, even though he can do voice acting and they can do some stuff with his voice and bring him into the studio. He did say that it was awesome that they were able to keep this under wraps for an entire year with no leaks, nothing, and for it to be an awesome surprise. My favorite moment was the complete dichotomy of the hallway scene from Rogue One being redone here, but it's not Vader, it's Luke.
Can I interject?
If you must, I guess.
I mean, you just kind of did, though.
Yeah, sorry. I don't see it as the I don't compare it to the hallway scene in Rogue One. I compare it to Anakin showing up on Mustafar and cutting down the Separatists.
I saw it differently because it's literally the figure standing at the end of the hallway with the smoke with just the lightsaber.
Yeah.
And where in Rogue One you had all the rebels, and then he just effortlessly slices through them. There's Luke effortlessly slicing through the Dark Troopers, force pushing, and then he crushes that one completely. But the feeling that you get from both of them, one, for both, you're nerdgasming. So you're just so excited to see that character in action because we never got to see Vader cut loose like that. We never got to see Luke cut loose like this. But the feeling that that scene gives each story is different. With Vader, you have despair, and with Luke, you have hope,
And just pure awe.
Well, I
For
mean,
both. For both.
for both. But I like how they didn't rip it off. But you could put those scenes side by side, and they both work for the perspective stories. And yes, like at that point, we still don't have the reveal that it
But
is
you
in fact,
know.
Well, no, you know at this point. Number one, you have the X-wing flying by with the blue R2 unit in there.
I didn't even see that.
The moment she said one X-wing, I'm like, motherfuck.
I wish it had clicked like that soon for me.
And then like the hooded figure, I'm like, oh, here we go. And then you see the lightsaber, and then but the lightsaber was on the little screen. It was in black and white. You didn't see the color, and then it was green. I'm like, there it is. Yep.
And then, of course, you get there's a shot where you're behind Luke going towards some Dark Troopers, and you actually saw the saber, and that's
it's in
what
the
I was
cargo
like,
bay type area where he's like,
there was
he's
no
holding
way
it.
it couldn't be Black Glove, fucking that specific saber. It's Luke 1,000%.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, there was a lot of rumors that said that this show is going to go 5 seasons, and that it was going to contain cameos from Luke and all this stuff, but that we might even get more story because okay, so here's the thing. We are going to go further into it, but he leaves with Grogu. He does, and this isn't the end of the story of Din and Grogu. It's not.
No, not at all. And actually, that kind of begs to question. And we're very much Tarantinoing this. We're covering the end of the episode and then kind of working our way around. But does this mean it's possible we may get a one-off Luke mini series that tells the story of what he and Grogu do, or because now, and this is going to add to the further canon and questioning because we have the question of what's between Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. And now we've got some answers, but now we have the question of what happens after season 2 of Mandalorian to The Last Jedi, where Luke gives himself up. What does Grogu end up doing in all of that? Where is he? Is he still in hiding? All these questions come to pass. So
there was even the question. I'm sorry to interrupt you. There was the question that someone posed to me that what if Kylo kills him when he kills all the other students? And I don't think that's the route that they're going in. I do think that eventually, that while he is with Luke for a while, we might even get time jumps. We might even spend a while where the show follows Din, just Din. doing because there's more stuff that in this episode that isn't answered and not complete. And we're gonna get that, and we're getting other shows. We're getting the Ahsoka show, as we know. We're getting Rangers of the New Republic, so we're gonna get other windows of opportunity to see what's going on during this time frame, which could help fill in the overall story between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. But we could possibly get that, and we're also getting another series that they just didn't announce during the big investors meeting. They announced it at the very end of this episode, which we'll talk about in a bit. But Nate, what was your favorite moment?
Obviously, big hype for Luke Skywalker. It was really cool to see that. There was a moment, though, that to me made this show what this show has always been about, and that's the journey of two characters. I'm going to try to be not super emotional when I talk about it, but the moment when Den takes his helmet off and he and Grogu say their goodbye and Grogu touches him, I was like a fucking fountain. I couldn't stop crying. It was so, because they have not, like, sure, Den has held him physically. Sure, they've been close, but they have never felt contact, real, actual skin to skin contact. And it's this moment of like, it was more Grogu telling Din it was okay and not the other way around, because it really got Den. He was really beat up about it. He like had a buddy, and it was good. It was really, really a beautiful moment for sure.
It's also very telling that Din took the helmet off with there being no, we've had a couple times where he had to take it off for circumstances,
Once in season 1, once earlier this season.
Yeah, right. But this time he was doing it so that way Grogu could see his face.
Yeah, it just made the series. Like, the whole reason that we're watching this show is the beacon in season 1 of this mythological creature that everyone's searching for. And then it's just this tiny little 50-year-old baby, and for them, for everything Din has done to protect Grogu, for everything, really everyone Din has got involved in the story, Cara Dune and your I always forget, Grief Kargas, and even Quill, like all these guys, they all had this one central thing where they knew Grogu was something special in the galaxy, and they knew that Den really was trying to keep him safe because of the choice he makes to not let Moff and company have him.
Mm-hmm.
But we actually learned that Moff wasn't actually probably going to kill him. Maybe, who knows? Maybe, maybe this was kind of Den made his own fate by keeping him from the, soon to be First Order, I guess you'd soon to call them. But
can I just say, and I don't even think we talked about Mando last week, did we? The one before that?
No, we didn't. We were going to save it for this week. We were going to double cover.
But there's so much to talk about with the finale. So,
lots.
Obviously Boba and what's her name? I can't remember her name now. Blah blah blah.
Bo-Katan.
Fennec.
No,
Shan?
Fennec. No. So they swore to Din that they would, as long, we'll help you until you get the baby, and like we owe you, or whatever. Blah. But what got me was the message that Din sent to Moff Gideon. Was the exact same word for word message that Gideon sent him.
Same cadence too.
Well, but you could tell there's so much more emotion behind it.
Absolutely. Yeah. Definitely.
That's my boy. You got my boy.
You done fucked up.
It's not even just a little buddy to him. Like that. Like, he feels such a strong emotional attachment to this kid that it's like there's nothing that's going to stop him from doing what he's about to do. And what was awesome about it is that, and I've already said it, this season made me appreciate the first season so much, because those episodes of the week that kind of charter off and do their own thing, I said before I didn't like that. I liked it, but I didn't because with there only being 8 episodes in a season, it's like, wow, we just had 3 episodes here that really don't do much. But they were introducing other characters and stuff that's going to come back around into the story later. And now I appreciate it more in hindsight. But
especially the prison break episode that really was disjointed last season. We actually finally get a beautiful full circle with Mayfield, and I thought that was a ultra well done story just shortly.
Yeah. Well, they also kind of revisit where in season 1, where he gets he goes back and gets some help to from was it Quill and was it Kara to go and help out and in the last episode or so of season 1. He does it again in this season with the other Mandalorians, with Bo-Katan and Sasha Banks, which she's not listed in the credits of Sasha Banks. She's listed as her real name. So
Mercedes Verano or Veranda. I'm not sure how it is.
But no, I mean, like, it's cool that she got cast in this and that. Maybe there's more to these Mandalorians that we're gonna have coming forward. But they came up with this whole plan, and they got this shuttle, and they're gonna, we're gonna meet up with with this butt plug Star Destroyer and
floating butt plug. Yep.
Tell me it doesn't look like a butt plug, Dick.
It definitely does.
I don't know what a butt plug looks like, Brandon.
Liar.
I do.
I do.
Somebody on Twitter posted it was they posted a picture of Gideon's cruiser, and then they posted a picture of a butt plug, and it was like Moff Gideon's like, "Stop sending me this stuff, guys." But no. So they had this whole plan how they're gonna get on the ship. He's got a couple of heavy hitters with him to help him out. He's going to go get the kid. And, of course, something that he got previously in the season to help him in his aid against Gideon was that spear, that Beskar spear, that basically, Beskar is one of the only metals that lightsabers won't cut through.
Fact.
So it's like, is this vibranium? No, I'm kidding.
He got that from Bo-Katan, right? That was what she gave him? Or was that Ahsoka that gave that to him?
It was Ahsoka.
That's right. It was the Ahsoka episode.
From the Magistrate.
And so instantly the moment we got that, I knew. Now he's got a weapon of his own to fight against Gideon with the Darksaber. Mm-hmm. And so Gideon has all the Dark Troopers. I actually thought it was really cool how he handled the Dark Troopers. And did you not get Terminator vibes?
Yes, absolutely.
With the fight of him versus one Dark Trooper,
oh yeah,
complete Terminator vibes.
Does Disney own Terminator now?
No.
Oh, I was gonna say maybe Favreau was applying to get the rights to do a Terminator film, because I would totally trust him with a Terminator movie. Holy shit!
Warner Brothers had it, and I think the rights went back to James Cameron. Finally,
it's James Cameron.
So no, but no, instantly the entire time that Din is struggling to fight against this Dark Trooper, he's trying to do fire, and it's like, cool, cool story, bro. What are you doing? But he's able to, he's able to take him out, and then he suctions all the other Dark Troopers out of that cargo hold, and they just go,
clever. And you're like, oh, he solved the problem. He did not solve the problem.
He did not solve the problem. Turns out their backpacks have jets. They're not Boba. They're Fett. Because he's off doing something else, bounty hunting, not for Jabba Hutton, to finance his vet. Anyway.
Bam, did you just do a whole rap? Jesus Christ, he totally rapped just then.
Do you not know that song?
I don't.
What?
Oh, my God. Really? You don't know that song?
Have you ever watched Fanboys?
I've seen Fanboys, but I don't think I know the song. At least it's not ringing a bell right now.
Okay, so the guy that does that, he also did a voiceover in he was a character in C-Lab 2021.
Awesome.
He played Hesh, and he's a rapper, and I can't remember his name right now from the top of my head, but but that's where I first heard the song was in C-Lab, and it's just Boba Fett. He's like, his backpack's got jets. He's Boba the Fett. He bounty hunts for Jabba Hutt to finance his vet. Wiki wiki wiki. So Boba Fett helps him get in. He does a really good job in his role. But the unfortunate thing is that there's just not enough of him in this episode. There's already so much in the episode, but it's like, how cool would it have been if he would have been on that deck?
Yeah, and the final scene.
Yes.
But it kind of actually lends credence to their history and it being an even more epic moment when, we've seen Mark Hamill come back one time. We've obviously seen Boba Fett in this season, and we know where that's probably going.
He's killing it.
I'm just saying, what if Luke goes back to a certain particular palace?
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay, continue on.
So the Mandalorians and Cara Dune, is that her name? Dune?
Yeah, Cara Dune.
Because every time I see it written, I always want to say Cara Dune,
or Cara Dune.
Brooks and Dunn.
We had an old customer at GameStop we called Brooks and Dunn. I'm going to just break down and tell that story real fast because you can't say it and just jump over it.
Okay.
So it was this older couple, okay? And I'm telling a real story here. I'm not making fun of these people. It was a husband and wife couple that would always come in bib overalls, okay? So jean bib overalls, right? But they had a daughter who was with them who was special needs. That's less funny. However,
that's funny. Thanks for pointing that out there, Nate. Glad we have you here.
Oh,
for that.
They would use her disability to try to get discounts. They would say, really, like, in 2020, what I'm about to say is not okay, but they would say it in front of her. They would literally come in and be like, look, our daughter's retarded. Give us a discount. And we're like, what? No, it doesn't work that way, man. You just can't go around demanding discounts, dude. They were always really tough to deal with. So we coined them because of the bib overalls, Brooks and Dunn. and that's the story of Brooks and Dunn.
That is so offensive to the actual Brooks and Dunn.
I know, right? Yeah.
They don't deserve anyway. So the Mandalorians and Cara Dune work their way towards the bridge. That's the word I was looking for. The frickin' so first off, they have to cross a literal bridge to get to the actual bridge, and some cool stuff. They're fighting stormtroopers, all that jazz. They get to the bridge. They take the bridge. Din's like, I'm going over here to get the baby, and he's like, I found the baby. There's Moff Gideon with the Darksaber.
Ready to cut the baby down.
Yeah. And he says, I'm not going to kill the kid. I got what I needed from him to analyze his blood. Now, before we continue on, I'm going to lay this question out to you guys right now. Do you think that his blood is the reason why we have Snoke clones?
Oh, clearly. It's also why Palpatine is still alive.
Yes.
Because they've found a way to genetically modify whatever is in Grogu that allows him to age at such a small rate that he is 50 years of existence and still doesn't really speak.
So it's not one of the faults of the Rise of Skywalker movie is that there's so much in that movie and they don't explain anything.
The novelization does, though.
Yes, it does. And they actually explain that the body that Palpatine is in Rise of Skywalker is a clone. It's not his original.
It's the original clone, though.
The original.
It wasn't ready.
Right, but
it wasn't ready.
But it's not him from his body that fell into the reactor.
Yeah, it's the spirit inhabiting the original clone that it went to. It's not like it went there, that clone deteriorated, he went into a new clone, and so on and so forth. He's kept basically together because he has so much dark side energy, force energy, that it actually deteriorates the clone body a lot faster because the clone body was not ready.
Yeah.
And so he needs all this fluid and shit going in. And by the time of Rise of Skywalker, he was almost out of all that fluid.
That's why.
So that's
he
why
needed
they're
them.
Yeah, that's why he needed to die again. He's obsessed with people killing him. Strike me down.
Well, I think what he's hoping, because there was this theory that what he wanted Luke to do was the same thing that he wanted Rey to do, and that was like get him in that moment to where he actually turns and he plunges himself on the dark side, and he would be able to take his body.
He'd be open for it. Yeah.
And with Rey, it would work even better because she's technically his blood.
It's even theorized that Vader stopped Luke from striking him down because he knew that's what the Emperor was doing. Not because he was protecting the Emperor, because he didn't want Luke to succumb.
Interesting. Well, anyway, Moff Gideon says, "We got his blood. Kick your blaster over here. You want the kid? Get the kid. But leave. Go away."
Heavy Gus Fring vibes, by the way.
Oh, dude.
Right.
Dude.
This whole negotiation, God, I'm like, man, Giancarlo Esposito, you're killing it.
Hire Giancarlo anytime you need a villain in your story. It doesn't matter.
Make
what he's
him
doing.
Doctor Doom in the MCU.
Oh,
Holy fuck.
Dude,
just dropping mad facts right now.
You
That
could
is
have
the greatest.
You could have a movie or show where all he does is rob Girl Scouts, and it'd be hilarious and also believable because he just comes off. He could easily come off as the most evil Girl Scout cookie thief ever.
Okay, I literally just envisioned Moff Gideon stealing a box of Thin Mints from a Girl Scout.
I mean, and that's just to start his Girl Scout cookie empire.
Exactly.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, where he has a lab underneath a laundromat where he's making more Girl Scout
purified cookies.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're just cookies. They're not like drugs or
no drugs, no hardcore stuff. But see, the Girl Scouts are pretty hardcore, and anybody that comes after them, they'll be hit with litigation and copyright strikes. Somehow those damn Keebler elves have getting away with it, but due to a technicality. But I digress.
So Dick walked off now. Oh man, he's back.
All right,
he's
getting
him.
So no, he turns on Din and starts fighting. Din's got Beskar armor. He's like, oh god, and then he's able to fend off the Darksaber, and him and Gideon duel with the Beskar spear he got, and they're going at it, which is kind of cool. And Din does it. He wins. He beats him.
How'd you like that movie did where he like flipped the spear back and kicked it and over or whatever?
Yeah.
So neat.
Man, like that was a cool fight scene for sure.
It really was.
And he disarmed our boy Moff Gideon.
Yeah, I got to interject for a second because there was a specific moment in that fight that to me is something they tried to show everybody else how it's done. And it's when Moff first comes at him with the Darksaber and he's scraping it across the wall. I was like, oh, they took that from Kylo Ren when Kylo had his tantrums, but they're doing it the right way. He's not having a fit at a fucking wall. He's just showing Din, like, I'm about to fuck you up, boy, and it's about to be bad. And I loved it. It just is so sinister, and I had to point it out. Please continue.
So Din beats Moff Gideon. He disarms him, and he brings him to the bridge. And that's when Bo-Katan puts it together.
Dude, her face as soon as she sees him with the Darksaber.
Well,
she's not happy.
And he's like, here you go. Take it. She goes,
I called it. As soon as he's like, this will be interesting. You're sparing me?
Yeah.
This will be interesting. I'm like, yes, it is.
So apparently the Darksaber is kind of like wands in Harry Potter. They have to be one.
Essentially.
One in a duel. And it's not the Darksaber, it's the story. The legend of the Darksaber has to be passed down and has to be won in a duel. And Din did that. And so now Bo-Katan, who wants the Darksaber says, if you have the Darksaber, you pretty much, that is like a scepter. You're like, I can sit on the throne of Mandalore, And she wants that, but now it's Din's. And now, essentially, Damn it, Nate, you called him Fring, and I keep trying to say Fring, but it's not Gus. It's freaking Gideon. He's like, oh, now they're gonna have to fight.
Oh yeah, and he's such a shit talker the whole time.
I know.
Now I'm gonna call him Moff Gus from now on.
Moffring.
Oh, Moffring. I like that.
But that's when the Dark Troopers come back. Apparently, they got Iron Man like jets, and they just fly right through space and land back in there. And like, hi, we're back.
And you're like, oh shit, this is not good for anyone.
No, nobody. And one thing leads to another, and they are banging on the door to the bridge. And
Man, I love that scene where they're punching the door and they're just like consistent. It was such a unsettling moment that was well shot.
Mm-hmm. Notice that Din had his spear and gun or whatever, but he wasn't holding the Darksaber. He wasn't using it. Because if I was him and these guys are going to get into the room, I'd be like, we'll argue about this thing later. Until now, let me use this thing to cut through these motherfuckers. Because he just fought one. He knows how hard they are to kill.
Sure.
But that's when the one X-wing shows up, and it's like, one X-wing. It's like, ship, identify yourself. You know, they're in the bridge. They could kind of send that out there, and then you see the ship fly by, and then you see Grogu kind of like look, and without words, you can tell he's sensing something. And it was
a
like
very strong presence within the Force.
They did such a good job of filming this because it was a step-by-step reveal. It's like you knew, then you knew more, and then you knew, and then you knew, and then you knew. It was like there's no other way it cannot be who it's going to be. At first you're like, there's no way it can be. Then you're like, no way. Okay, it might be. Okay.
I kind of thought it was Cal for a second, honestly. I was like, oh, cool. They're going to bring Cal from
It would have been cool.
Fallen Order, because...
I almost thought you said Law and Order.
No, Fallen Order.
Fucking Ice-T shows up.
Jedi Law and Order.
These are the stories.
Wow.
Dong dong.
So no, we already talked about it. Luke gets out. He fights his way over through the ship. Goes down the hallway to the bridge.
He decimates. There's no fight.
He is so smooth and fluid, and you can tell he's been practicing. It's been like at least 5 years since Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
So he's had a little bit of practice. He's definitely way more. And see, you said earlier Jedi Master, and you're right. He definitely is a Jedi Master because there's no one else to tell him he can't be.
There's no one to not grant him the rank of Master.
Yes.
We recognize you on this council, but we do not grant you the rank of Master.
Son of a bitch! Like
what?
It's like, I'm the last one. It's like, damn.
It's all the ghosts. They're just grouped together. Like, you still don't earn it. You still don't deserve it.
Not good enough. I mean,
what the fuck?
If then you're like, yo, like Qui-Gon's like, you guys are very well aware that you played as just as much part in turning Anakin as the Emperor did. And Yoda looking at Qui-Gon's like, shut up. Anyway, Luke shows up, saves the day. We get the reveal with the de-aged Mark Hamill, just like we got the de-aged Leia in Rogue One. And then he speaks, and it sounds like Luke. He's like, are you a Jedi? I am. And then he holds his hand out. Come, little one. And does Din say like he's afraid, or he's like, and then Luke's like, he's asking for your permission.
Yep.
It's just so cool how Luke has that understanding.
Oh, instant. Like,
I mean, given he's again Jedi, look through his fucking brain waves, but
he can just communicate with Grogu like like Ahsoka could, and understand without words. They just feeling and meaning, and it's like he wants your permission. And Din goes and picks him up. It's like, it's okay. You can go. He's one of your kind. And then of course Din ends up taking the helmet off, and you see Pedro Pascal like tearing up. Like, so
that was so powerful.
Oh,
and I feel like I was actually kind of shocked that they didn't do like the cliche. he's taking off his helmet. You see his face, and then it cuts to all the other people just and pans across. I'm like, oh my god, he just took his helmet off. Not that they would do that, but it's
I think at this point,
react.
though, everybody, maybe not the Mandalorians.
Only Mayfeld and IG-11.
Kara had seen him with his helmet off, though.
No.
Yeah, in the finale of the first season, when he takes his helmet off, right? She's with him.
No.
Am I crazy?
No, they went down below, and it was only IG with him.
Yeah,
that's
right.
Because they had that discussion of like, no living thing can see my face, and IG-11's like, bro, I'm a robot.
That's right.
What I liked that they didn't do that because it made it more that personal moment.
And it works out. Again, any complaint I have isn't an actual complaint. Like I love this episode from start to finish.
It works so well because it's grasping that emotional moment, just like Nate said, with Grogu reaching out and touching him, basically telling him it's okay. Like thank you. I won't forget you. And with that moment, like Din doing that, it's like, look at my face. Don't remember the helmet. Remember this. Because they're connected and bonded on that deep of a level. And no, that episode ended with such. When there's another part of this episode that we didn't mention, and it was a part that I really liked, is when you see on the little security cameras, cloaked dude with the lightsaber kicking ass. Moff Gideon realizes who the fuck this is.
Yes, he does.
And he panics.
He gets scared.
Gets a blaster rifle, tries to shoot them, and then tries to shoot the child. Because we cannot let this child fall back into the hands of the Jedi. And then you see Din doing the whole, like, jumping in the way and barely gets it. And that's when Kara, like, bam, knocks him out with the brunt end of her rifle.
He tries to shoot himself too.
Oh yeah, after that, then he's like, okay, I'm not. No, you guys ain't taking me. Yeah. And then she stops him. So like,
yeah.
Oh man, no, that was if you didn't know by that point, his reaction, like between Grogu, because I feel like Grogu was like, since he was watching and seeing what was ahead, I think he was using his feelings to push out, saying, hey, around this corner, 3 more or whatever,
Yeah.
Because obviously Luke can reach out with the Force, but these are droids, and it's not like he can sense, there's 7 droids down that hallway necessarily. Maybe he can sense that there's things down there, but
I'd be able to sense like their electrical energies and shit. I don't know.
But see, now you have this little kid being like, hey, outside our door, buddy, there's like 7 of them. So like, all right. Like
3
cool.
o'clock over there, 5 of them.
Yep. And no, dude, like Luke takes off with him, and that was the end of the episode. And so we don't have what's going to become of Moff Gideon. Is he going to get turned into the Republic? Bo-Katan wanted a Darksaber. That's another thing. The contention with that. She also
what's going to happen on Mandalore?
Yeah, she wanted this ship to help build the fleet for Mandalore. So there's that other issue. And, when we left the episode, there is an after credit scene. And also the episode was directed by Peyton Reed. Is that his name?
Yeah, director of the Ant-Man and Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Yes, killed it. Freaking killed it.
Yes.
For this episode.
Yes.
By far, like, this gave me the same feeling as Rogue One.
Just a lot less despair.
Happier ending for sure.
Well, sure. Well, you knew Rogue One was ending that way, going into it. Like, there's no other way. But
and of course, Brandon looked back to Rogue One too when we were watching it. Was right after Carrie's passing, and it was very emotional still. So it does have the same kind of weight too.
We'll see. And I felt the same feeling after watching Force Awakens in theaters, because when I watched through the prequels, I didn't feel like that. It didn't give me feels like the Vader stuff at the end of 3 did. Like, I thought it was cool, but like Force Awakens did that for me in spades multiple times, and still does when I sometimes when I rewatch it. Last Jedi gave that to me a little bit as well. Rise of Skywalker didn't. There was a couple scenes that I really like in that movie that made me feel, but there's a reason why I actually haven't sat down and rewatched the whole movie. I don't hate it. that's not the word. I just flaws. I mean, not, and I don't want to come off like this snobby Star Wars fan because that's not what I am. I've made it well known that I feel like they whatever plan there wasn't there, and we don't have time in the episode. But I watched this video last night. There's a supposed leak about it. Lawrence Kasdan and JJ writing a script for episode 8 that would have been thrown out. We don't know if it's true. So some employee from Bad Robot who no longer works there got a hold of this and took pictures of it, and it's a whole story treatment for episode 8 that could have been. And again, we don't know if it's true, and maybe we could talk about that in another episode sometime as a what if.
Sure.
But Rogue One, by the end of that movie, my God, I was like nerding out and having feels. Mandalorian season 1 did not make me feel that way.
It was still exciting, but it didn't give you like that Star Wars gut punch of like, holy fuck, it's happening.
Going back to last year, I was a very mixed bag with it. I'm like, there's some good stuff in here, and it's great, but it's a bit slow. And then they did the Darksaber reveal, like, and I'm like, but like, only diehard fans are going to really understand what that is because they haven't explained it yet.
I remember seeing like it cut into the TIE fighter, the crashed TIE fighter, and just all of a sudden, or whatever sound it makes.
Yeah.
And then it starts cutting through, and I'm like, cuts through, kicks through, and out walks Gideon. He's brandishing the Darksaber, and I'm like, what? But yeah.
No, this season was so much more well produced, and while enhancing the first season and the stories that it told, without the first season, now you actually have the emotional attachment to these characters, and they didn't just bring in new episodes of the week with whole new characters. I think the only new characters that didn't come back were like the Frog Lady and like shit like that. Well, because you even had that one Ranger, that one X-Wing pilot. He came back and deputized, Dune. So like you have these kind of recurring characters kind of coming about, and they did that again here. But the overall story in season 2 was much more focused, and every episode, every tidbit led into this finale. And it's one of the best Star Wars things we've ever gotten. Like literally, the story from beginning of season 1 to now is one of the best Star Wars post-original trilogy things we've ever gotten. What I love is that they paid homage to the original trilogy. They paid homage to the prequels and all the stuff that they did before and brought them here, whether or not you were prequels or Clone Wars, all that stuff. It's like, hey, we're doing all this stuff here. It's awesome. It's cool. Have hype. And then to pay it off, like with the cameo, they did the cameo for Carrie and Rogue One. We did the cameo for Luke. Could we get more? I hope so. And I hope they're able to do it. And I hope that Hamill's on board because he was so excited about it that I can't see him not being on board. But guys, we had an after credit scene where
we did.
We're back on Tatooine. We see the double suns, and we're like, at first when I saw it, I was like, oh, are we getting like a follow up scene with the one character who hasn't come back yet is trying to remember his name now. The guy that had Boba Fett's armor.
Cobb Vanth.
Cobb.
Oh yeah, I was shocked that we didn't get another team up with him.
So I thought, oh crap, are we gonna go back here and see what's up with him? Is this something? And then it goes over and there's Jabba's palace. I'm like, okay. And then there's Bib Fortuna.
Sitting fat as fuck on that throne. He has
gotten fat. He's like,
what did Boba?
Well, but
Boba's
Bib,
in the hut though.
Bib
was tiny.
Bib looked like he needed a bib for all the food he's been eating. And he's like, I am not yet in my final form. I will soon. I'm gonna be a slug too. You just watch.
They're like, how did you get this big? He's like, I opened an Olive Garden in the basement. It's got unlimited soup, salad, and breadsticks. They just I make him bring them to me continuously.
I did not say stop. All the cheese. Give me all of the Parmesan.
Sir, would you like some salad too?
I want the Parmesan and the Parmesan only.
I would have
On
fed
his
him to the
name.
Rancor, but I ate it. Anyway, so what's cool is that we almost have a replay of like a scene from like Return of the Jedi, where you hear the blaster shot, and then the dude falls down the steps, and then you see Fennec walk in, and you're like, Fennec? And you see Boba walk in, and I'm like, oh, dude.
Unfinished fucking business, dog.
They left him down there in that Sarlacc pit. You know, that's why he's all scarred up and stuff. You know, he barely survived that mess. And then Bib's like, oh, yeah, the Boba Fett. Hey. Oh, we got some breadsticks for you, my friend. We got some soup. Oh,
What kind of soup you like?
Oh, the kind of soup you like. We got the Olive Garden downstairs. Open all night for you, my friend. All right. And for some reason, he's like a semi, like Cuban, like dude. I'm not sure. Hey, Bib Fortuna.
Sound like Watto for a second.
Watto. He should be. Oh yeah, the Boba Fett. Yeah, okay. And then Boba's like, I loved it. He just boom. Just
No fucks given.
no words said. Shoots his ass.
Fucking shoves him off that fucking seat.
And then
But then-
sets his ass down like, this is my
Like,
house now.
He is the king of the underworld now. Which
then-
I
That's exactly what I was gonna get to, Dick. He has just named himself king of the underworld for sure.
And then the waiter comes by and is like, breadsticks? And then he takes them. He's like, now I will have those breadsticks. And then we got the Book of Boba Fett coming out next December, a brand new series coming to Disney Plus.
did it say a brand new series or
Yeah, and it's gonna be separate. They've confirmed Book of Boba
Okay.
Fett is not
Okay.
Mandalorian season.
a lot of
3.
people are questioning whether it was going to be the next season. I'm like, I
No,
mean,
this
okay,
is
we
Star
can-
Wars being Marvel. They're gonna go ahead and venture
Good.
into having a
I mean,
second series officially.
I'm 100. I would much rather have a new series than going away from Din Djarin. Like we've come too far with Din Djarin to just take a break from him.
I would agree. I would rather Mandalorians just be his story and all
Yeah.
all the stories that surround his quest and journey. And that's what's cool about the story, focusing on him and this kid and all these other things weaving in and like around.
Yeah.
him.
Not to mention, like, we need to get the whole Mandalore thing. We
Yeah.
need to get that whole. I mean, because there is unfinished business between him and Bo-Katan. Bo-Katan
Oh,
is
yeah.
not happy.
I would love for Din to end up with that role and him not want it, but
He's a Jon Snow.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah, but like because
He's like, I yield.
but
It
now
has
what
to
do
be
you?
worth the battle. Okay, I yield.
But like as of season 2, he's now completed his quest to reunite that child with its
Yeah.
own kind. So now what does this character do? What does he want? Does his needs and wants change? You know, did his time with this kid change where his brain was going, or does he fall back on Creed? You know, or does she want that so bad, but also realize?
I think it's gonna be she wants it so bad and ends up making her the bad guy of the next chapter.
And that could, but I
it's
can
it.
also just 1 second. I can also see her wanting it that bad, but also not wanting it bad enough because she realizes that their numbers are so little that for
They can't be fighting.
Better that they unite.
it's like okay,
It makes more
then.
sense to bring the kingdom together, especially under Din, who she knows can lead.
Well,
It's got to be a point of contention, though.
no, and it
gotta-
keep it a point of contention, but basically said nope. You're a new Mandalore, and he's like, no,
I don't want it.
and yeah, I don't want it. I didn't ask for it. I don't want it.
I just love that the
Fucking Din-
tension in that scene.
Oh, it's
Where
great.
It's like, here you go, and she's like, and fucking Gus Fring over here talking shit. She can't take it.
Fucking
You don't know what you're doing, bro. You know what you did, bro. She can't take. Not like that.
fucking Daenerys Catan and Din Snow.
Yeah,
Din
and
Snow.
man, what's her name? Katie Sackhoff. She killed it in that scene. Like she's just like,
Mhm.
don't let. She's like almost like to the point of like, don't let it touch me.
Right. Yep.
Like, I can't touch that.
Not
I
that way.
cannot touch that. And yeah,
So-
and she's, and it's so funny because she basically talked shit about Din Djarin earlier in the season in her introduction video, or not video, episode.
Hi, I'm Bo-Katan. Let me tell you about myself. I fucking love
but no, when
I'm,
she's in,
I'm an Aquarius.
him, she was making fun of him for his like Death Watch fucking. This is the way.
Oh yeah, Child of the Watch.
Yeah, you're a child of the Watch. Like she was talking shit about his tradition and his creed, and then she's got her own, and it's like, wow, it's funny how the turns table. So
The turnstable.
Well, maybe we'll maybe they'll fight to one last breath, and we'll find out whose creed will continue.
I would like to. I would like.
Oh Jesus Christ, Brandon.
But what if?
Shut up.
What if Den finds himself in his own prison?
Shut the fuck up, Brandon. What if? That was sidebar. When I saw Creed live, that was the worst part of the show.
Really?
Was seeing Creed live? Yes, it was.
No, dude, no. I'm not gonna talk shit about Creed. Scott Stapp was the worst part, but the worst part. Okay, so it took. I'm pretty sure I've told this before, but it took 3 songs for him to sound okay, and then the rest of the concert he sounded okay. They play "What If," and he's killing it for the most part, but then it gets to the part where he's just over and over again saying "What if." He's like, the rest of the band is killing it the whole show, especially during "What If," and Mark Tremonti is just fucking shredding. And then like, here's Scott Stapp, what if, he's just like cheesing it up there. And I'm like, can you please stop and just sing the song the right way? And then I watched like the actual like concert DVD they filmed in Texas, and he did the exact same thing. And I'm like, I'm getting like flashbacks. But
yeah, Creed will do that to you.
I love Creed. I love Creed. That's a rank 'em all we could do.
No, thank you.
So here's the thing. The acoustic version, they did like an acoustic set with Sirius Radio, or maybe it's AOL or somebody a couple years back, right? And it's them doing acoustic My Own Prison.
Ooh, so good.
And it's awesome. Like he nails it. He kills it. And it just has a mood about it. There's some Creed songs I do like.
Did that take you higher?
No. No, but this episode of The Mandalorian definitely took me higher. It's awesome. I can't rate it like any higher like than that. As it just reiterates, it's some of the best Star Wars that I've seen. And the fact that Jon Favreau, Dave Filoni, like they hit a home run with this series. Not just this episode, this series.
Absolutely.
And trying to tie in things that they love, things that they know. I mean, Filoni is obviously the heir apparent and should be. If we had Tyler on here, and if he ever heard me mention the name Kathleen Kennedy, he would be triggered. But I also, just because she's in charge of everything doesn't mean that she can't take all the blame, and then when something good happens, get none of the credit.
Word, dog.
So do I think what happened with the sequel trilogy is all her fault? No. Do I think her being in charge and having leadership affect that? Yes. Do I also think that her leadership was in effect here? Yes, because she made good decisions here by letting the people who know what they're doing do what they do. And
yeah, absolutely.
So I mean, and that's what I gotta say about it, because whether you like or dislike aspects or as a whole the sequel trilogy, that's over and said and done with. And right now, as a fan, it was hard to be excited coming in for season 2 of Mandalorian. I'll be honest with you. I was excited to watch it, but I also was like, man, the overall Star Wars fandom is a reason why, one of the many reasons why Tyler and I never officially started and kept doing Podcast Menace. It was bad timing, number one, for both of us in our respective lives. But number two, it was, as much as I love talking and nerding out about Star Wars, I dislike hearing everybody else's opinion about Star Wars, because
It sours your enjoyment.
it definitely can. And while I enjoy having a good conversation with people and going back and forth and having intelligent conversation, there's not a lot of that out there sometimes, and there's just a lot of angry fans, and that's not exclusive to Star Wars anymore. That has gone to other things.
No, I do my best to stay away from like the opinion side of things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if it's Star Wars, 99% chance I'll enjoy it.
It is hilarious though, because time changes
Mhm.
things, and when The Last Jedi came out, I remember the four of us with Tyler. We
Went on a 3.5 hour podcast. Yeah.
and we all loved it. And obviously our minds and tastes have changed since then. And the more that you sit on a project, the more that you can change your opinion, and that's perfectly fine. What's funny about that is the internet hated it. And then if you would ask the same question now, that's the best movie. That is like, what?
We were in the minority saying it was the best movie right when it came out. I
Yeah.
love the movie still because I think it was brave and it took chances that we needed in Star Wars.
Yeah, I'm not gonna fault it for that whatsoever. Like, I don't. They just don't hit the way they did when I first saw them. Even Rise of Skywalker, which I loved, almost as much as I loved it Last Jedi when I saw it. To me, the only one that still holds up in terms of like I still love it to this day is Force Awakens.
And see, there's a formula there that they kind of copied and kept forward.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, George kind of did the same thing with Episode 1 too. So I'm not saying that's necessarily 100% a bad
The thing
thing.
is, Force Awakens just had that magic.
Yeah.
It had that magic of we're back.
Well, and did it have the magic, or was it that we as fans, especially our generation, especially had the prequel trilogy bad taste in our mouth, that they could have fed us Purina dog food, or they could have fed us Blue Wilderness?
So
I'm just saying they could have fed us Blue Wilderness cat food. Whatever it was they were going to put in our mouths was better than the prequel at the time. So it hits on a certain level for you.
I think it's a good, healthy dose of both.
Okay.
I think there is enough nostalgia and enough hype over it, and the fact that it wasn't like the prequels, mixed with the magic of the original first movie.
Sure, absolutely.
The fact that there was an obvious loose idea of where to go with the trilogy, and then they brought in Ryan, and Ryan got to tell the story he wanted to tell, and then there was a reaction to that, and the internal reaction was, we need to protect our assets and our money with this. Let's bring JJ back in and have him try to salvage, and literally they try to retcon a lot of things and change your opinion about the other movie. And I feel like if they just would have kept marching forward, but the real detriment is that they're when George Lucas wrote the original Star Wars, he didn't know he was going to make a sequel. No. But you had a guy who wrote the story of Episode 5 of Empire Strikes Back. You had a guy who wrote the story of Return of the Jedi. And so there was constantly, you had a guy on set of no, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing, even if he didn't have it all planned out. As he was writing the next entry, he was like, okay, so you had one guy, this is where we're going, this is what we're doing. Here you had Lawrence Kasdan and JJ said, this is the first movie, here's where we should go. Ryan's like, actually no, I think we should do this would be great, it has some really cool, awesome scenes, this is stuff I want to see in Star Wars. Flip it on its head a little bit. And then you have Colin Trevorrow. Yeah. He comes in, he does his thing, and they're like, nope, we have to salvage this. There's angry fans. We got to make sure we give them the magic and the might and the awesomeness of Star Wars. JJ comes back in to finish it off because we had ideas. And all right, this is what they did here. Now we're going to go here, and we got to make a long ass movie to explain everything, and then we don't. And then we ended up where we did. In the Mandalorian, it seems like from the very beginning of episode 1, they knew, even if they didn't have it all 100% written in script, the end of season 2 was going to be this, or at least loosely outlined. And so that way we can end season 1 here, introduce you to everything. Season 2, the story picks up emotionally. And I feel like when you have, all throughout this series, who's been on set and who's been on there helping call shots? Favreau. Who's been helping writing these scripts and the story? Filoni. Who's directed episodes? Favreau, Filoni. I'm not saying that these guys should be in charge of everything, but I'm saying
they should be in charge of everything.
At least you have guys that are playing either together or separate in their own projects that George Lucas role of Star Wars overlord, of being able to, converse with the other writers, converse with the directors of this.
They need to have a seat on the council.
Yes, no, they are.
That's a smart play.
Yeah,
if they're not in charge, if they're not overthrowing or usurping Kathleen Kennedy, they need to at least be on the council.
If she's making a lot of these decisions based off of like pleasing the Disney overlords, and then, but she needs to have, and hopefully she does now.
Become way too corporate.
Well, yeah, but she needs to make sure that, hey, trust these guys, because they delivered something that has brought great financial value to Disney Plus, as well. They were able to sit there and milk all these hardcore Star Wars fans for everything that they want. Like, literally, for that entire episode, all of us, whether we were high, whether we were buzzed or drunk, full on fast food, whether or not he was sitting on his couch, like telling his wife to go away, don't look at me, or
telling her to get down on her knees, son.
Well, no. Here's the thing.
Some people might do that.
They might, but literally, we ignored all that. Go away. While this other thing is basically pleasuring us to climax, and that's exactly what we just sat there and just took.
I mean, I got this image right here I posted yesterday. It's got a picture on top. It has J.J. Abrams. We can't satisfy the original trilogy fans while also appealing to a new, younger audience. And below it has Jon Favreau, and it says "Hold my beer."
Yeah,
and I even went as far as saying, like, what did I say? This is what separates the hired guns from the people who actually give a fuck about the content they're creating.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's not to say J.J. Abrams doesn't give a shit about Star Wars or the product, because he clearly did. I mean,
there's a lot of love that he put into Force Awakens and into Rise of Skywalker. There's a lot of Star Wars in those movies, and I don't want to say that they're not, but it was definitely marred by not having an overarching direction. Even if the overall story wasn't done, there just wasn't a clear plot. It wasn't like George Lucas brought in Irvin Kershner and said, "Do whatever you want with my movie." That's not what happened.
I really can't wait to see the roundtable episodes for this season.
Oh no, they're going to be great. But to close off this episode, because we're not going to get to the other thing that I wanted to talk about, which is fine. We'll save that for next week. That's just rumors and speculation anyway, about something that's not even related to Star Wars. So why shift gears to talk about it for 5 minutes and then leave? But
Brandon knows what's up.
Yeah. So I sent this. This was a tweet that I saw last night that was liked by somebody else that I follow, and I sent it to Nate and I sent it to Tyler. So Blaine, I'm sorry I didn't send it to you. But Tyler heart reacted to it. So I know he liked it. Anyways, thank you at Jon Favreau and at Dave Filoni for giving me Luke Skywalker at the height of his Jedi power. And thank you at Rian Johnson for evolving my favorite Star Wars character and showing that even though our heroes aren't perfect, they'll always be there for us.
Bam. Home run.
And there's another thing, and that, because this, I'm so surprised that this didn't dawn on me right after she passed. The last time that Mark Hamill and Carrie Fisher were on screen together was in Last Jedi, and it was him kissing her forehead. Like, oh
man, beautiful.
Anyway, love this episode, guys, and I'm glad that we could sit here and gush about it.
What would you let's get our ranks.
Oh,
How are we gonna rank this episode?
Oh no, this episode's a 10 for me. It totally is. It had a lot of action, a lot of suspense. It had the right emotional tugger moments. I teared up as well. I teared up basically the moment that Luke started cutting people down, or Dark Troopers down, and then I teared up again with that emotional goodbye. Like it was like, and the only spoiler I had 2 spoilers going into this. Though I saw the word cameo, and I saw emotional.
The only spoilers I had were it was awesome and there's an after credits. That's it. I was blown away by this episode. It's a 10.
Yeah, I knew. I want to say I also knew there was also an after credit, but didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
I think Nate, you're the one that put that out there for us, which is I don't care if I'll gladly, because I would have just turned it off.
Yeah.
I think
It's credits. Sometimes I'll watch the credits just to see the concept art and shit.
Oh, that's
really
awesome.
But
And
there
that's the
was
only
none
time-
this time.
Yeah,
No.
no, and see, like, there's a lot. That's the only time you really get to hear the opening theme, truly, and it's such an awesome.
Did you notice the score, the opening, the Mando theme, while he was talking to Grogu and all that? Like they changed the score.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Nate.
Again, the score when Luke comes to save the day.
Yes, absolutely. Nate, what's your rank?
Oh man, that's a perfect score. Come on now. They did everything
Yeah.
right. Like I said, and I said this before, I'll say it again. Honestly, this is the best Star Wars we've ever got, and that's as a fan of the original trilogy as hard as I am. Like they did that better than I thought it could be done, and I'm excited to see where we go from here.
Absolutely.
It's definitely going to be different going forward because this story has hit such a crescendo that the only way to go now is down a little bit, and that's perfectly fine because you can't have the next episode 1 of season 3 be we're back up here again completely.
I mean,
Surprise! Vader's back from the dead to fight Din.
I mean, plateauing at 100 is pretty solid, I would say.
Absolutely.
Better than plateauing at 30.
Yeah, 100. So that's a unanimous 10.
Yeah.
All right, take a drink. I'm out. I drank all my nerd.
So they're doing a deal with Cyberpunk right now with Rockstars, and each can gives you $1 in Xbox money to spend.
Damn.
That's solid, actually.
And so, like, yesterday at the store, I saw that, and I'm like, I was only going to buy 1, but I guess I'll get 4.
The only time I've ever done like a double XP thing was back in like 2012 when Halo 4 came out.
Mm-hmm.
I'd get like a pop every night in the cafeteria.
Well, they're doing a giveaway, and if you have the code on the back of the tab, but you have to open it to get the tab, so that's kind of cool.
Nice.
So that way people just can't go stealing the codes and everything. But no, you get up to $60 in Xbox gift card money, so you can go out and buy a game or whatever. You also get entered into some giveaways, and Cyberpunk has not been pulled off of the Xbox store. Just so you know.
Interesting. This episode is not sponsored by Rockstar Energy Drink.
Nope.
But as always, folks, you know where you can check out Journey into Comics podcast. Make sure to get us at journeyintocomics.com. Go to all the different podcasting platforms, Apple Music, Amazon Music, Podbean, Stitcher Radio, Google Podcast, iHeartRadio, TuneIn, CastBox, many others. Just search Journey into Comics Network. Get our feed. Also, go get the Podcastrophe feed at the same place and the Game Addicts podcast feed while you're at it. Get that dabbing shit out of here. The only dabbing I kind of do, the only kind of dabbing I do involves smoking, not that yabba dabba do shit, whatever that was. But is there anything else you guys want to add before we dive out of here today?
I just want to say thank you guys for having me on.
Absolutely.
It's always a pleasure, Dick.
I have another thing. An announcement. Congratulations to Nick Maxon. He got engaged last night to his lovely girlfriend Jess, now fiance. So
Absolutely.
congrats, guys. Very happy for you.
You know, could you say that the story of Grogu, of having starting off with the Jedi, now being back with Luke, has gone full circle?
Yeah.
Is that another Creed reference?
It is. It is.
God damn it. Okay, folks. Well, I think we're gonna.
I'm the only person that would fucking get that.
I know.
We're gonna wrap it up now officially and get out of here. Now that we've gone for full circle, Jesus. Thank you guys so much for checking out this week's episode. As always, also don't forget to watch us on Facebook and subscribe and like on YouTube. Got to make sure to say that every time because we are there as well. But I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of Journey into Comics. This has been JIC 327 Jedi Law and Order. I've been Nate.
I've been Brando.
I'm Dick.
And we will see you folks next week. As always, pop your caps back and fill your brains with shit. Later, guys.
Din din.
Din din.
Oh, so the episode should be Jedi Law and Order, comma, din din.
Din din.
Absolutely. Later on, guys.
All right, later.
All right, guys. Hey, I'll